Happy Monday morning. The weekend's already over. Hard to believe. However, we're starting our Monday off right because we are talking to a man that I'm sure you know, you're familiar with, and I am so excited to meet Carlos Mencia. Hi.
What's going on?
It's kind of surreal to be speaking with you, even though it's like, through screens, but I
Sure.
guess through screens is really the only way most of us know you.
Yeah, it's so weird, and I never stopped touring. I love the live aspect of what we do. That connection, going across the country is just the best. Being able to tell a joke that I know is going to work in a special that I did in Minneapolis, in Seattle, in Miami, in Los Angeles, in New York, in Denver, knowing that that joke works in all of those places when you do specials, it just makes you it just fills me with such uber confidence because I know it's funny. When somebody's like, how does this joke work in Trump country? Did it, been there, got it, know how to do it. It is liberating.
That's great. And like, there's nothing that beats that live audience where you really get the feedback right away on what you've created.
Yeah, the feedback in general, not just the laughs, but like, for me, every bit that I do has to get an applause break or cheers, or it's just not worth putting in the act because everything else does. So it's not just that. It's the how to, right? Especially in today's comedy world. Everything is about perspective. You can make fun of anything, but there's gotta be a really acute way to get it in because everybody's defensive. If you ask me what has changed from when I started doing comedy to today, and I'll tell you what it is, it's that people today are not able to laugh at themselves. They're still able to laugh at everybody else, but they're not able to laugh at themselves. And that's the difference. Where back in the day, you could tell a joke about everybody else. And then when the joke was on you, people were like, all right, it's my turn. I get it. Today it's the opposite, because we're in such an attack mode. We're in such a that guy, that woman, this person, that person, that, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, what about you? Like, no, how dare you? And it's just and I hate that. I hate that. I find that hypocritical. It annoys me. It actually pisses me off to see an audience member literally laughing, spitting out, crying, and then boom, one joke. They're just like, what? How dare you? I literally will stop the show and go, oh, are you serious? You were laughing your ass off at the chick jokes, at the gay jokes, at these jokes, and all of a sudden there's one joke about you. And then you can see this visual transformation of, oh my God, I didn't realize I did that. And yeah, I was laughing. And then usually they apologize and then we kind of move on. But it takes like that moment of grabbing somebody and saying, hey man, what are you doing? Like, how can you do that? How can you sit there and laugh at others and not take the joke yourself? And by the way, expect that you're perfect. Is that it? Like everybody else has flaws, but whatever you come from is perfection. That it just leads me, and then it leads me to, why does this happen? And then in my head I just start writing jokes about, oh, because we raise kids this way and this is how it goes and you learn this. And it's really funny. I do this joke right now about, and this is really true, how it annoys me that Americans, we just don't know how to lose, right? We really don't anymore. We don't have that bone in our body. And I've been doing jokes about this for decades. So I'm able to go to towns like Denver and say, by the way, 25 years ago, I said it. Stop giving kids trophies. People need to learn how to lose. And I can tie all that in to now how every 4 years we have to litigate elections for 4 years because half of this country don't know how to lose. And where does that come from? That nobody, when you get a trophy every time you participate, you expect something every time you're in some kind of a whatever. And that's not the way it is. And so being able to look at that, feel something, and then tie it in to all this and then create comedy around it, it's so amazing just to see the eyes of the people and the cheers of the people, and the laughter of the people. It's awesome. I feel needed right now. I feel like America needs a perspective, and because I'm an immigrant, uh, it's easy for me to give that perspective. 70-ish% of Americans never leave this country, so
I
they have
believe
no
that.
idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have no idea how awesome America is, right?
No, they don't.
These are people that live in Beverly Hills that have never left Beverly Hills, and they see the 5-bedroom house on the corner as cheap, because that's all they know. They don't know about a 1-bedroom house with a family of 2 kids. That's unheard. What are you talking about? That doesn't exist. you know and I'm up there right now to give perspective about freedom of speech, about it. I just turned on the news, and every single news channel, whatever their perspective was a story about how something's broken or something's bad. Nothing is celebrated anymore. Everything is, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with that? And I don't see it that way, man. I mean, America's amazing. We have fat, poor people. Like, how do you explain that to the rest of the world? Or poor
Yeah,
people.
I've never thought about that.
Well, I talk about this. This is how amazing America is. We go camping, right? The concept of camping is, I have so many amazing things in my everyday life, that once a year we pretend we're fucking homeless. Okay, we pretend that we don't have a house. Like, how
I do that all
awesome
the
is
time.
your
We're in
life?
Colorado. We go camping all the time.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But what is camping? I mean,
Yeah.
see, to me, what I love to do in life, right, is draw the simplest of analogies, right? So I love math. Math is my thing. So liken it to word problems in high school that we took, where you had an equation with 2 parentheses, and it didn't have a solution, but it just took it down to its barest bones, and that was the solution. It wasn't an actual solution. That's kind of how I approach my comedy, right? I kind of simplify it to a simplest of terms, to go to that simplest of places. And so to me, it's this. If I were to ask an illegal immigrant, right, the lowest on the totem pole when looking at it from that perspective, and you go, okay, Juan, we've known you for 7 years. We're going camping. Would you like to go camping? Juan says, I don't know what camping is. And I say, camping is when you get away from all of this mundane city life. You go out there, you don't have a house, no electricity, no phone, no cable, no internet, no Wi-Fi, no worries, no water. You get to go in the forest and take a dump wherever you want. What do you think about that? And I believe the response would probably be, I believe my family has been camping for thousands of years. We are very tired of camping. And so when I see that, I go, okay, here's a way to give a perspective, to teach a variant, and also at the same time to do a really funny joke.
Yeah.
So I'm able to kind of encompass all of those at the same time. And when times like these occur, it's great for me, because I'm able to say things. And then bring them back, hit somebody emotionally and bring them back. The other day I went on stage and I said, man, it's sad, but sometimes I pray for a terrorist attack. And some people in the audience went, what? And I said, yeah, because, after 9/11, we were all together. And I guarantee you that the minute that we have a terrorist attack, it's not going to be about the right or the left. Fox isn't going to be talking about, the right or the left. MSNBC isn't going to be talking about the right or the left. We're all going to be talking about, what do we do to get these terrorists? It's that simple. And then now that I had their brains and their hearts in the right place, now I could start talking about how we deal with these issues in a comedic fashion, and telling stories about how me and my buddy, who weighs about 350 pounds, are in Djibouti, Africa. It's a true story. We have an army base there. And in Djibouti, Africa, girth is a sign of wealth. And he weighs 350 pounds. And the story that I tell about how I'm trying to convince these people that this kid, who's my opener, is my employee. But they're just not having it. They're just not having it. They believe that they were literally like, You are the best assistant ever. You are protecting him. You see this? I'm like, I'm not protecting, and I'm getting mad. Like, no, I have to pay for dinners. Come seriously, and they just couldn't understand it because their eyes are telling them this guy has that much extra food. He cannot be poor. And so to be able to bring those stories, to life and to give that to people so that they can at least kind of walk away and be, thankful. I was last night, my nephew, I'm talking to him about, the way things are and what's going on. And I said, I see everything. I understand everything. Sometimes I just don't get everything. And so we were talking about how people like me worked really, really hard. I mean, really, really hard, so that I can provide for not just my family, but, my wife, my kids, and to take care of them. And it's frustrating to read that this new generation of kids coming up, 18 to 30 right now, are the saddest. They have more health problems. They're the unhappiest. They have more anxiety. And there's more suicide amongst them. All of these negative health factors. And I'm sitting there looking at him going, you have to understand how frustrating that is for me, because I worked really hard so that you wouldn't have to. Like, I put a college fund in there. You're going to have a car when you're 16. You have your own room that you don't have to share with your kids. You have the jeans. I buy shoes for your ass that are $200 fucking dollars that I used to pay $36 for back in the day. But you want that shoe and you have fucking anxieties? Are you kidding me? What are you anxious about? But you don't want to become that guy, right? You don't want to become that older guy who is like, these kids today, because then you disconnect. So I'm trying to find out, like, what is it? What are you afraid of? I mean, I said, look, take a middle-class kid who worked really hard and busted his ass and lives in Aurora, Colorado, and got a 4.2 GPA and tried to get into the University of Stanford but couldn't. And then this black kid did with a 3.9. But here's the difference. This black kid with the 3.9 comes from the worst side of Chicago. And in that part of Chicago, being shot on the way to school, when you do get shot, what they say is he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's not the wrong place to be, going to school in the morning or coming back from school. That's the right place to be. And yet this kid gets shot. And he's got to worry about getting to school, coming home, and he's got to get a job because his parents, is one mom and taking care of. And this kid doesn't even have the anxiety. This white kid that grew up in Aurora. And I swear to God, the funniest thing came out of his mouth. He goes, well, I'm anxious because I'm afraid that black guy's going to steal my stuff. And I went, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. And he looked at me and he stopped and he kind of got sad. And I went, what are you getting sad about? He said, I'm sad because I said that to you right now because I know you're a comedian. You're my uncle. I know you're probably going to use it in your act and make it funny. But I can't say stuff like that in the real world anymore because people are going to take that in a whole different direction and not understand that it was just meant to be funny. There was no harm in it. I don't want to explain that I have black friends. I don't want to explain that I was hanging out with my, African-American. I just wanted to be funny for 2 seconds and you allowed me to. But now I got to go back to this other world where saying stuff like that is inappropriate and wrong. And I'm a racist. And I don't want to be called a racist because I'm not. I don't have that bone in my body. And, those moments make me realize that that's what that's what we do. That's what I do when I perform live. I bring that sense of truth and realness and authenticity to the stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's awesome because I see the lives that it affects. And that's a beautiful thing to be doing stand-up right now. Plus 1 year off,
right?
It didn't recharge my batteries as much as it just made me hungry, in a way again that I haven't been since I was, God, in my early 20s, when I started doing this, because you have something to prove when you're young. And once you prove that, once you get to the top of of the mountain, you know, you plant your flag. It's kind of what now? It's one of those things, you know. I remember, and most people don't know this episode, but this episode exists. There's an actual episode of the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, and there's an episode where Wile E. Coyote actually catches the Roadrunner, and then a little thought bubble pops up, and it says, "Now what?" And I didn't understand that when I was a kid, but now I completely get it. And
Yeah.
what this thing did was it allowed me to be able to recalibrate what I do on stage, because it made me, right. It says, okay, you're retired. You did your thing. You know, what do you want to do now? And it was like, well, I still want to write. I still want to create. I still want to produce. I still want to do all this stuff. I know I stayed away from TV for a while, but I want to do that again. And so it was like, oh, wow. Okay. So I do have a drive, and it is for the simple art of doing it, not the compensation, not the money, not the anything. It's literally just the work of making people happy. Yeah. So
yeah,
a lot of perspective.
Man, we are so excited to have you here in Denver, to have you sharing your perspective on stage, back at it after this year off. Carlos, I love hearing your thoughts on the world, on comedy, how it's evolved. If you want to be front row, well, I don't know if I can guarantee you front row, but if you want to be in the
there's
audience,
no more front rows. There's like, not a lot of tickets left, actually. So better hurry up and get them.
You've got to go to comedyworks.com, get your tickets now, because a lot of people do very much want to hear your perspective. We're so looking forward to having you here. I am so honored you joined me this morning, and thank you so much for being here and taking the time to chat with us.
Nah, you too, man. It's awesome. Like, you know, like this, for example, you know, before the year was around, to get up early is like, for a comedian, is like, oh, I gotta get up early.
Oh, I know. Like, I get that all the time from comedians.
I was so excited, and I tried to grow a beard. Everybody was like, why don't you grow a beard? And I tried, but this is it. I'm gonna cut it, because look, I can't connect from here to here. I don't know what's wrong with me.
It's a little dicey. I'm not gonna say it's bad.
I look homeless. That's not the look I'm going for. So I'm cleaning it up by the time I get to Denver. Sorry, I tried to look Denverish. I tried to show up and look Boulder, but I don't.
Nah, you fit right in. We love it. Carlos, thank you for joining me today. If you would like to get tickets to see Carlos Mencia at Comedy Works South, they've got all of their social distancing protocols in place. You can go on the website, check it all out, make sure you're feeling safe, you're feeling good. There are tickets available for shows Thursday through Saturday, but you've got to score them right now. Thank you for joining me today, and we loved having Carlos Mencia here.